Let's understand the recommendations of Tandon Committee on financing working capital requirements. As per Tandon Committee recommendation, assessment of credit should be linked with the level of operations and activities of enterprise. Promoter should bring in minimum margin and bank should fund only the residual portion. There are standard norms on holding raw material, work in progress, finished goods, consumables, receivables for different industries. The inventories were also categorized into normal inventory. These are all the inventory which are required for the normal production. Then comes flabby inventory. This is in excess of the normal requirement and this arises because of poor working capital management. Then there is something known as profit making inventory which is held for realization of stock profit, and there is also safety inventory. This is to meet unexpected shortfall that may arise, and there can also be excessive inventory which may arise because of say imports or because of government controls. As per Tandon Committee recommendations, no flabby inventory or profit making inventories should be funded. If at all they maintain, then those levels should come down and they should be in tune with the past or say industry practices. Okay, they should be in tune with past or industry practices. Now, how working capital is assessed as per Tandon Committee? Let's see. As per Tandon Committee, bankers should act as a supplement resource only. Okay, I mean banking fund should not be the core fund. The core fund should come from promoters margin. Then it can come from other liabilities like trade creditors and other current liabilities. It means bank fund should be only the supplementary or the final. So if I put it in this order, current assets should be first funded by owners funds, then it should be funded by or it can be funded by sundry creditors, then it can be funded by suppliers, and there should be a balance, and only in that bank should step in, say in the form of cash credit or overdraft. Let us also look at the maximum permissible bank finance method suggested by Tandon Committee. They've actually suggested three methods for funding this working capital gap. Let's see one by one. The first method, where current assets will be funded certain portion by other current liabilities, it means there is going to be a working capital gap. Now this working capital gap, whatever is the figure, on which 25% should come from the owners, that is 25% of working capital gap, and that will be called as margin, and the balance will be funded by bank in the form of cash credit. Okay, so this is the first method of maximum permissible bank finance. Then comes the second method, where current asset and other current liabilities will be compared. It means a portion of current asset is funded by other current liability, so there is a working capital gap. This got to be funded, but in this one portion should come from owners, and that is mentioned as 25% of current asset. So there is a difference here. In the first method, this 25% is applied only on this working capital gap, whereas in the second method, this 25% is applied on the current asset as a whole. It means the balance will be the cash credit. So here what is going to happen? In this method, the customer will get more loan because this 25% is applied on a lower figure, whereas here this 25% is applied on a higher figure, so the customer is going to get less loan. Then comes the third method, a very stringent method, where current assets minus current liability, it means portion of current asset has been funded by current liability. So here we have a working capital gap, but there is very critical point, that is in third method, entire current assets were not considered for funding. It means there is something known as core current asset which will not be considered for funding by the bankers. So there is a working capital gap now. Now this working capital gap have to be funded. In that 25% funding should come from owners, but how that 25% is arrived is from this current asset, core current assets will be deducted. So current asset minus core current asset. So only the residual assets are being funded by the bank itself. So that multiplied by 25%. So you get a margin that you subtract from this working capital gap. So we'll get the balance amount, that is the bank loan, okay, or say cash credit. So I repeat, the third method, what is happening is, not entire current assets were funded. Okay, but working capital gap is derived as current asset minus other current liability, but core current assets were not funded. So this working capital gap got to be funded now. Margin that is coming from owner should be current asset minus core current assets. It means only the residual current assets multiplied by 25%. It means only the residual assets are being funded. Let's have a look at some numbers. We will have better clarity. So we'll analyze all the three scenarios. Let's say in all the three scenarios the current assets are 100 and current liabilities in all three scenarios are 40. It means we have uniform working capital gap. In scenario 1 you don't have core current asset. Let's say in scenario 2 also you don't have, because that differentiation is not made in 1 and 2. It is happening only in 3. Let's say core current asset is 20. It means the current assets which got to be funded is only remaining 40 in scenario 3, because out of 60 core current assets will not be funded. So the bank will consider the working capital gap of only 60 minus 20, 40. Okay. Now let's see how to calculate the margin. In method 1, margin will be calculated on the working capital gap. So 60 multiplied by 25%, it is 15. In method 2, margin will be calculated on current asset. So it is 100 multiplied by 25%, 25. In method 3, it is going to be current asset minus core current asset multiplied by 25%. That is 80 multiplied by 25%, it is 20. Okay. Now let's see what is the maximum permissible bank finance. So it's going to be C minus D minus E. So in first method it is 45. In second method it is 35. That is 60 minus 25. In third method it is 60 minus 20 minus 20. It is only 20. So if you notice, first method is very liberal method. Second method is a balanced one. And third method is a very stringent method. So if you try to measure the current ratio here, where current assets are A and current liabilities are, we have this the current liability item number B, okay, and this maximum permissible bank finance item number F. So 100 divided by 40 plus 15, right? Not 15, 45. 40 plus 45. 100 divided by 85, it is 1.18. Here it is going to be 100 divided by 40 plus 35. So it is 75 and 1.33. If you notice, out of 100, the current liabilities are 40 plus 35, 75. It means 25% is coming from the owners. That's why the ratio is 1.33. But if you notice the third method, current asset is 100, current liability is only 40 plus 20. So the current ratio is very comfortable, 1.67. But this method is considered as very stringent method. So this was not accepted by the Reserve Bank of India. So these two were in practice. So most of the banks now they are free to fix up their own assessment method. So predominantly most of the bankers are following only this method, where the margin is applied on the entire current assets.